The following show contains a fictional narrative that includes themes, events, and language that some may find distressing. Discretion is advised.
Good evening and welcome to This Line Isn't Secure. As you all know by now, I'm Cher. Today we have a fantastic episode planned. It's going to be quite an enjoyable time. Let's start with our introductions. As always, get us started. Other bald man.
Fuck you, dude. Okay.
Guns blazing. Throwaway. I was like, I might get him.
Hi. I'm the Muffin Man. Also known as Ty, also known as Deputy Marshal Reed Hollis.
Hey guys, I'm the guy with probably the most hair out of all of you. My name's Charlie. I'll be playing, not length, thickness.
Hey, it's not the length though, it's what you do with the length.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not about length, it's about girth.
My name's Charlie. I'll be playing Adam Blackburn, aka Agent Meridian.
Hey all, this is Andy. I am playing Dr. Alexander Shoemaker, otherwise known as Agent Merchant, Professor of Forensic Psychiatry.
And I'm Hawk, a man more sinned against than sinning, who's playing the resident geek cop, Heather Stoddard, aka Agent Miranda.
And as Cher always says, men aren't necessities, they're luxuries. All right, let's go over the recap. Hawk, whenever you're ready, kick us off as usual.
Absolutely. Starting off their investigation after escaping from the fumigators and their debriefs, such as it was with Exeter, the group gathered for breakfast at their hotel. Over the cheap and somewhat dry eggs, they discussed their plans for the day. Merchant and Miranda identifying that they would do some digital recon of the Dorchester house, the people involved that they had started to unpick from the tangled narrative they had received, while Millstone and Meridian went and did some physical reconnaissance, scouting out the grounds at the Dorchester house and identifying points of entrance, egress, and who might or might not be there. Sitting down together, Merchant and Miranda dug out some medical files from a strange dead-end server that Miranda was able to identify that had a lot of information about the missing people. Their last remaining locations, the strange circumstances of their disappearance, their various psychoses and syndromes and diagnoses, as well as a strange and altar-like site devoted to a woman named Camilla, covered in absurd and abstruse poetry. Meanwhile, during the physical reconnaissance of the exterior of the Dorchester house, Millstone and Meridian carefully observed the outside, identifying that everything was about how one would expect it to be. Not quite a fortress, but a solidly built near prison of a mental institution, but something was off. A car in the parking lot peeled out and raced away at the sight of the duo. They managed to get the tag, and checking it, they identified that it belonged to one Mr. Barbas, with a photo associated with that name that looked surprisingly familiar. Barbas, it turned out, had the very face of the person who had just debriefed them, Exeter. Gathering together, the group decided to marshal their forces and visit the Dorchester house proper that very evening. Meeting first with their contact, one of the doctors at the Dorchester house, they were led through a scene of some intensity. The Dorchester house had a mixture of people under various states of sedation, restraint, and calmness. Some of the inmates, in fact, seemed quite agitated to see us passing through. In the doctor's office, we began to discuss the situation, but the moment was somewhat derailed by Agent Merchant, noticing a text nearby. An ancient-looking scroll written in Latin, speaking of a kind of flood. Merchant, confronted with this strange coincidence, perhaps, this memento of a past he would rather forget, stormed out of the room to the surprise and shock of the doctor and his fellow agents. It's as if the world was turning around Merchant, turning and turning. It moved and he didn't, still stuck where he was as a child. At least, that's how I remember it.
Time is slowed a little for all of you that are both in Dallin's office and then Merchant in the hallway. Things really drag on, and you're not really sure if the moment is the reason, if your experiences right now are the reason that time feels the way it does, or if maybe the curtain has risen, maybe the scene has changed. You certainly all feel as though you're being watched, not in a creepy stalker kind of way, but in the kind of way that someone's counting on you to finish the scene. And I would say just as Merchant, maybe you feel the pull of reality, heavy air quotes. You also feel the gentle touch of somebody on your shoulder, and a very kind and soft-spoken but confident. Are you okay, sir? You're bent over in the hallway. I'm not used to seeing that from our visitors. So, pardon me.
Yeah, sorry. I'm fine. Thank you.
You look up to see a very sweet, maybe 30s, 40s Hispanic woman standing there, and she's got scrubs on that have little clocks on them, like different kinds of like cuckoo clocks and clocks all over. She's got a very warming presence. Seems to be very good at her job, if you had to guess, based on this first interaction with her. And she, helps you up in a way you don't feel like she's, patronizing you. She's assists you and kind of walks alongside you, and makes a kind of an offshoot comment like, "We all have the days where things just don't feel very real, do they?"
Indeed.
Yeah. She opens the door to Dallin's office. I assume maybe right as someone's trying to exit to check on Merchant. Greets you, does a nice like, "Oh, sorry, he's right here. Yeah, I got him." Maybe the moment lingers as you all kind of like, did she get him? I don't know. And she kind of walks in the room. "I'm Esther. Hi." Dallin says, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
You.
Thank you. Just had a
like
moment. A little flashback. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. But we all have our days, our times. Yeah. No worries. He's like, I've got to go deal with an issue that has arisen, but Esther here is our head nurse. Years and years of experience, and then all here, phenomenal. Knows all the residents here very well. She'll give you a more detailed tour of the place. I'll probably swing by on the first floor whenever you folks are about to head out. You have to forgive me. Things are always happening. Doors always opening, and so I've got to go take care of it. He stands up without much ceremony and doesn't even really shake hands, not as a measure of being impolite, but just as a measure of like him having to be somewhere now. So he kind of zips around you, leaves the door open. Esther says, "Hi." Dallin's he's professional, but I'm happy to give you a detailed tour and answer your burning questions. Giving off kind of you think it's either friendly or maybe creepy, but the difference is pretty tough to tell, I think, at this point. But she stands there as if waiting for a question before she begins the guided tour.
That would be lovely. I'm Miranda. These are my associates, Mill, Mary, and Merchant. Dr. Merchant, actually. We're very excited for the tour.
He said that you were auditors. Is that, or should I not ask? Is it one of those?
No, it's fine.
No,
it's a public audit. It's
Oh, okay. Oh, great. That will be no problem. Great. All right. You see, she kind of even lets down a little bit more than she already was. She doesn't seem like she's unprofessional, but she's definitely much more comfortable and much more socially aware and ready to have conversations and answer questions and all that. Caring.
Don't mind if we're taking notes.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. No problem at all. those laws and those rules are all very, very wide and deep, so I understand. She says, okay, well, there are a lot of restrooms, so if you ever need to just don't have to, you know what, it's not college. You do what makes you feel happy. And she stands up, and you have that key card that you got at the front desk. Okay, great. She stands up, and as a reminder, you're all on the 3rd floor, which is where Dallin's office is. Typically I'll start on the 1st floor. You'll have to forgive me. It's kind of we have a lot of folks come visit. So she says, just ride the elevator with me. She walks over to the
As we're getting started, I just want to ensure, I understand y'all had a critical incident recently, and we want to ensure that I believe one of the rooms was empty of one of the occupants of the critical. We'll definitely need to see that. I think that you're going to have the most questions as it relates to the 3rd floor, based on the fact that they were all up here, and that it's just kind of the most interesting. Sounds a bit dismissive, but I suppose it's easy enough to say. It's the most interesting. The people that are here are, quite storied. It would be a good way to put it. She says, great, I'll walk to the elevator with you. And as you walk, you see that she's got, you can see her scrubs are white, with these little, small little timepieces, but they're near glistening. They're very, very well maintained. They don't look new either. They look like they've been taken good care of, not very pilled even. She's got this, like I say, very practiced warmth that she's got. She walks along and is, kind of saying hello to the orderlies and a few of the residents or patients that are there. As the elevator doors closed, she just says, did Dallin give you the dream speech?
Oh.
Well, darn, he always does. Sorry, that makes it so awkward. He usually gives a speech about how this place is a dream. People that live here, if they, decide to be unhappy and treat it like it's a nightmare, well, it's all about attitude and positivity. And that usually means that when I say, did he give the dream speech? I say, well, I get to give you the luxury of showing you reality. And she kind of smiles. I imagine the smile bouncing off the metal elevator and hitting none of you. She allows the silence and then says, okay, the doors open on the 1st floor. All right, great. And walks you out. You saw the 1st floor when you came in, a lot wider, a lot more open. Just as a reminder, the 1st floor is kind of the lowest security, so to speak, and then gets middle floor is the second most, and then 3rd is the the heavy security unit. So you're seeing the whole place has a certain amount of contraband you can't have, but on the 1st floor they've got a decent amount of like pencils and writing utensils and some painting materials and things, a lot of craft stuff, even like a pair of safety scissors or two that they're using to like do some more crafts. A lot of crafting, a lot of like hobby happening. So she begins walking with you, calling you along. And she says, if there's anything you have a question about while we're going along, just interrupt me. I just kind of have a thing rehearsed. So she says, the Dorchester here has been operating on this current model for 17 years. We have the 3-tier system you saw when you walked through. First is for transitional, second is for the longer term therapy. And then the 3rd floor is for like really intensive operation. Observation. That's what I usually say. I'll take you wherever you like. We'll just start on the 1st floor and then go up. Nothing's off limits. She's gesturing around. So the 1st floor, larger, clinical, more like hotel suites. Patients are various states of recovery. You've got books, photos, some shared common spaces. We think of these folks more in discharge mindset and a lot less about, we don't get too personal. That's kind of what the 2nd floor is for, which we'll go to in a little bit, but more adolescent mind presence, perhaps, is the better way to put that. And as you're walking along the 1st floor, matching what she's saying, you can see that a few of the rooms have doors that don't lock, or it seems they don't lock. They've got either like a key system such that they can be like a push bar inside, key on the outside, which makes you think maybe they are like a residence, right? So like the resident has a key and they can open their own door and then they can't get locked in. It's a push bar. Most of the rooms are shared. There's like two bunks in each of the rooms.
stairwells on every corner, so there are about 4 stairwells. There are a few that are kind of half stairwells to match the architecture, but generally there is a stairwell at every corner. And the majority of the space is sectioned in the sense that there's like some activity rooms, there's obviously the residents or the patients where they stay. The 3rd floor has that kind of like middle goldfish bowl thing going on, which isn't really as homey. This feels pretty homey. There's decorations on some doors. In fact, there's a little calendar that has a date circled for a couple days from now with a door decoration contest. So it seems like they're definitely interested in that. And you also notice that there are these nurse stations that are kind of all around. Little glass cube that here is not. They're not as gaudy. You guess it's probably plexiglass, but not bulletproof glass. Certainly enough to stop somebody punching or throwing some liquids, but would not stop a bullet. And there's nurses in some of them, orderlies in some of them, and you're seeing all the folks that work here. Very, very much fitting the trope of some kind of asylum or wellness place. Orderlies are mostly in white. Some have kind of a light blue on that you take to be not important and just kind of a factor of they don't match. It's either light blue, sky blue, or white, but no one's giving orders. It doesn't seem like it's any like hierarchical kind of thing. There are nurses that all have scrubs on, so they are fairly well distinct from the orderlies who kind of have more of a almost like a long sleeve sweatshirt and sweatpants kind of thing going on. Very like flexible, able to assist in keeping people safe if they need to. No one has any weapons that you can see. I mean, overt weapons, right? You do see that there's, medications that are in some of the nurse stations as they're like unlocking and helping with dosing. And as you're walking and she's kind of mentioning these things, you certainly have time to roll alertness if you would like to. Roll fast. We'll see what we can see.
It's a 59 under 70.
29 under 63.
77 over 40.
Nice. So all but Miranda. What do you think Miranda's enraptured in?
She's preoccupied with the electronic security systems. Like she's not paying attention to anything else. She is like identifying cameras, field of view, identifying general electric systems, speakers, PA systems, anything electrical. She's only focused on that at the moment and is perhaps a little too invested in it.
Okay, got it. Well, you'll get something from there as well if you're looking for that, so no problem. Each of you are able to gather a couple of things through walking around. You are seeing that there is 2 people that have what seem to be a pretty outdated laptop. And in walking by, looks like they have internet access. Don't see any cell phones. Another conversation you kind of hear as you go by. 2 people say something like, "Did you hear about Edward? He was put in the starfish." "Oh, wow, the starfish? Damn, I bet he's up on 3. Yeah, he went to 3. You also hear, as you're walking through, sounds like maybe there's like an older human that's kind of helping mentor somebody that's just, arrived on this floor or whatever. And they're discussing bumping. Carolyn bumped Edgar in North 3. You take that to mean some kind of physical intervention, whether it's, you don't know, you're not sure. The conversation doesn't really center around that, but it is verbiage that he utilizes a couple of times. Each of you also see that there are motion sensors. Does seem to be that there are like fire doors, and there are some locked doors, that key locked. The fire doors especially, all seem to be like very well made, meant to be resistant for multiple hours worth of fire. The kind that a facility like this would have to have. They'd have to have something like that. There are also cameras. The cameras appear to be, as they were outside, closed circuit television, meaning that they are wired, so to speak. Essentially, there's not a whole lot of over Wi-Fi stuff happening there. In fact, the folks who have laptops, there you look and they're plugged in. They're plugged into an Ethernet cord. So there is no wireless internet that you're seeing from anywhere, including the reception desk which you walk by. And then finally, and you'd all notice this, all of the windows don't open. None of them open. There is, probably Heather would know this part. There's likely an air circulator that does this, like an HVAC, an industrial HVAC, and like ducting system that does this for them. So all the windows are reinforced, like wire meshed windows with like the non-shatter glass. Like they're very, very concerned about that. She kind of pauses and verifies there's no other questions about this floor while the elevator is arriving.
So obviously, movement must be controlled between the floors. What does movement outside the facility look like? Are there field trips? Are there organized events for those on the first floor here, or are we're locked in until discharge?
She says that the first floor sometimes has outings they'll do, scheduled outings they'll go do, but they're not more than once a month at maximum. And with this that's just happened, I imagine they'll become even less. We've had periods in which, we've never had any escapes before, when she says the word escapes, she like instinctually looks around before saying it, but you're in an elevator, so no to look, but it's obviously a naughty word, a word that she does not like saying aloud. We haven't ever had any escapes before, but we've certainly had times where there have been a very tumultuous presence. So on those times, we will move to maybe once a quarter's worth of outings, and only for those that we are sure, even on the first floor, that pose no danger or threat. So the majority of them don't really, whether by their age or ability or their state.
And so this next part's very important. What is your protocol when you have an escape?
She looks at the elevator, the buttons lighting up as it's very slowly going to the second floor. Perhaps we can dip into my office on the second floor and discuss that in a little better detail.
There's no monitoring in the offices?
She says, not my office. I have a white noise machine. A few of the other therapists have white noise machines, so we can turn that on and maybe it'll be okay. Elevator opens up. On the second floor, you see what looks kind of like the first floor. However, all of the doors look like they have been beefed up, so to speak. All of them are double-sided locks, so you have to have a key on either side to get in or out of any of the rooms. There is some sort of activities happening. You think maybe it's like yoga or like Tai Chi or something like that. They're doing something kind of looks to be another activity room. A bunch of workout equipment and things is in that room too. And that's where the majority of the residents are, and the orderlies, and probably the nurses too. There's a few nurses giving dosing meds and passing meds to the residents that need them. Again, many nurse stations that are all around. These look a little bit more fortified. Maybe still plexiglass, but double lock doors, smaller slot at the bottom to pass meds in and out of. So she even says, she's like, this is the floor that we didn't think we would need. We thought we'd have the third floor kind of be the catch-all for the folks that were a little bit more desiring and need of help. And the first and second would kind of just all be the lowest of the level. But we realized we had to do a little upgrade and unfortunately break into a 3-tiered system so long ago. This floor is by far the most awkward of them all. Things are more personal. As I mentioned, a lot of them have very adolescent thoughts or minds or behaviors, not by age. But we've got, if you notice in the activity room, she kind of like backs you up and walks you. She says the music room. As you walk by a music room, you've got like a guitar. You've got some posters in there. You've got as you're walking out, you see like love letters that have been pasted to the wall. There's like these kind of banners and string lights in some places. All string lights are out of reach, but she says their world's they're very here. They're very loud. Not in the sense of volume necessarily, but they're a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now on this floor, on the first floor, they're allowed to have unsupervised internet access, and so those are reviewed. They still have to get reviewed and approved by Dr. Dallin, but no cell phones on this floor. And on the first floor, Dr. Dallin has been very opinionated about that. No cell phones. They don't work very well anyway. The cinder block walls are very obtrusive. If you believe in the kind of interference with frequencies in the mind, certainly you'll be safe here.
I knew someone once who believed those sorts of things made her sick, actually.
Oh, all right.
She was not well. When it comes to treatment, you mentioned, some unconventional frequencies, things like that. Would you say your facility operates mostly with conventional, or do you try clinical trials, or perhaps homeopathic treatments? What kind of regimen do you use here?
Dr. Dallin is very, very scientific. He prefers only to utilize techniques that have been proven as much as they can. Nothing like essential oils or no vaccines, anything that variety. Everybody here is treated medically as much as they can be.
No clinical trials here.
No. I'd be long gone before that if that were the case. Yeah, no way. All right, my office is just down this way. She walks down a little further. You see what looks to be an orderly that exits a stairwell and nearly bumps into the group of you. She kind of like catches them as he's moving out of this stairwell. Very large man, both in size and seemingly in presence. He comes out and he kind of bumps into Esther. He says, sorry, I found this, and he hands over a watch, what seems like a black Belova dress watch, and he says, I found this in the linen chute. Again, this is 4 times, and she's like, okay, all right, Matt. Thank you. I'll take care of it, I guess. She kind of just unfolds, the straps fall away from it, and she like kind of just hands it back. She's pointing it at you kind of behind her back as she's talking to Matt. So I need you to go down. Sorry, on the first floor, I saw that David was having a bad time, and she kind of goes about something needs to happen, but she kind of just has the watch back in your direction as if to just kind of give it to you.
Yeah, I'm going to reach past Merchant, who's in the lead, and take the watch and investigate it a little bit.
Remind me and the audience at home what your electronics is.
Yeah, so I have craft microelectronics at 60.
Say, it certainly looks like a Belova watch. There's nothing that would make you believe that. I mean, you haven't taken it apart yet, but you gather that it's real. I mean, it looks fine and good enough. It's got a nice black leather strap. The lug is polished, kind of brushed silver, and the dial is black. The indices, the little spot where the numbers ought to go, they have been replaced. And so they, at the 12 o'clock, they going from 12 clockwise, ALONGTHESHOR. And there are no numbers. The watch is moving fine. It seems to be ticking, and it's an automatic movement, insofar as the second hand is smooth and does not tick. So, again, in line with what this would probably be if it were real, so to speak.
Based on what we know the time is, if the watch did have numbers, would it be facing to the correct time?
No, it's totally off. Well, I think it's about maybe 10 or 11 where you are. It's reading 4 p.m. Well, or a.m. It's reading 4. How deeply are you looking at this watch?
I am not going to try and open a watch, just sort of freestanding. But I am just like giving it a once over, listening to the mechanism as best I can without, having a stethoscope or anything. And, examining the indices a little bit closer to see if this is like a rudimentary replacement, like someone has scraped off the numbers and how these has been replaced, or if they fully replaced the dial with something that was properly made.
Yeah. Well, roll me a microelectronics roll. Good enough.
8 under 60.
Pretty good. As you flip the watch over to check for a maker's mark on the case back, you see something else. You see some more letters. There's very little chance that your compatriots would see this, so I'll send it to you personally. If you'd like to share with the group, you're more than welcome to. Also, you do see that the indices, the numbers, have not really been... it's not a shoddy job. You're aware that there is a decent amount that can happen to a watch over time. This watch is not that vintage. You'd say probably like 20 or 30 years worth of vintage. It is not like wear, as if that was like beneath something. It's not as if that were... You can take a look a little closer and see that it doesn't look like the dial was sanded down and then repainted. It looks like this dial was created this way. Insofar as it looks like, it looks like one of the letters has a pretty good mark on it from what you assume was something inside of the watch, like a rock or a very small pebble or something that got in there at some point in time. So it seems to be that, they're original as they could be. You do see what's on the back of that, and maybe 10 or 15 more seconds before you think that Esther is going to be done speaking to Matt. Do you want to share anything with the group, or do you want to wait until later?
As I do, I rub my thumb over the etching on the back to check and see like if it's like how deep the etching it is, and to see if there's like marks that it was done, again, with proper tooling, or if this is somebody with a needle and or a pen knife doing this. Interesting, fascinating. Merchant, not a normal maker's mark here. Something about cloud waves breaking. I don't know. It's hardly a pleasant walk, a pleasant talk along a briny beach.
It looks to be as if it were created that way. Again, it does not look like it's rudimentary or like it was done in with a file and a hammer. It looks like it was done very precisely in a way that you're not really sure. I mean, you're not a watchmaker, but you gather that it was done in a way that was extremely precise. But it does not look like it. It's aged with the case back as well, to be clear. It's like it matches.
I wait for the lull in the conversation indicating that things have run down. I've mentioned what is on the back of the watch, but haven't spelled it out. And I instead ask Esther, so is this an article from a staff member or one of the patients here?
Thank you, Matt. I know you can do it. And he's like, yeah, okay. So he walks away. He's got a little note. He's like reading she's like, a little newer, sorry. Yeah, this, it's not a part of any patient property. It's probably Dr. Dallin's, to be honest with you. He keeps odd things in his drawer. He's got that creative mind, scientific.
Sure.
So,
and you said this has showed up a couple of times recently, but has he claimed it officially? Like picked it up from your lost and found or anywhere?
No, he tends to stay pretty busy. He kind of runs around. Whenever I get a chance to meet with him, I'm usually always focused on treatment plans or changes to our security or whatever might be of most importance. And so I haven't really mentioned it to him. You can just hold on to it if you want for your investigation.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if it's relevant but it's
disappeared into a pocket. I have no idea, but I will drop it off at the front desk if it's of no matter to our investigation.
Yeah, now that would be great. Perfect, great. She says, okay, well, that's my office, right. She walks in a little ways. You see a nicely decorated door. It says, I can just hear of yours at home saying, that's not how you say her last name. Esther Samigina. Samigina. She does have a little head nurse placard on her door as well. So as soon as the door shuts behind y'all, and what is a very homey office, seems very nice. What seems to be a very relaxing song playing on a record player in the corner. She has a picture of her and her, you assume, husband and her boy. They're all kind of dressed up. Maybe they're like a Ren fair or something. You're not sure, but it's on her desk. She sits down. And she says, "God, I'm so worried about them. I hope they're okay. I can't display this in front of the staff. I want to, convey that we know what we're doing. But God, they're just such good people, and everybody deserves to have a home and to feel like they belong and all that. They just It's just so sad. Anyway, I'm sorry. What did you want to know?
A few things. Merchant, why don't you lead the way?
Yeah, protocol. What do you do? What's your policy when there's an operating procedures when there's an escape, attempt, and an actual escape?
We only had one other attempted escape, and just after we opened, I believe. I don't even think we knew his. I think he was just a John Doe too. I don't even remember his name. You'd think I would. Yes, she says we have a policy book here somewhere. She reaches under her desk and this big, white bindered book with a bunch of page protectors on it. It's got some dust. She says, all right. And she flips to a section and says, Internal Regulation DH112-B. It's titled Patient Absence Events. She says that the first phase is detection, understanding that someone's missing. In that phase, basically, they utilize like a missed medication interval, or if they do room checks, or like a sensor anomaly, a door sensor or a motion sensor anomaly, they that's kind of the first step. Once that's done, once they find someone's missing, an audible alarm hits the terminal in one of the nurses' stations that's closest. They do an immediate lockdown. All the doors on all the floors close. The patient hallways and the exits are all restricted. There's like they have a multiple key card override that goes into effect at that time if they have to. There's orderlies. They have a security staff that's kind of minimal that will also come and help out they're going for not the militaristic thing. They want to make it look homey as much as possible, but they do have like, the guard out the front gate, and they have another that's in the guard station or upstairs on the server floor. So they'll come down. They leave the cameras at that point. Everybody else is, sequestered basically. And then every floor is searched top to bottom, all the service ducts, all the laundry chutes, all the elevator shafts, all the crawl spaces, all the storage. They review, they after that search is done, they don't find anybody, they go and they review security footage in real time. And there are, quote, she mentions that there are hallucination zones that you may want to flag for a question later. The orderlies do soft holds if they find somebody or if they need to administer medication as necessary to get people in their rooms, or if they find somebody that's run that they need to. There's a incident log that is usually created by the security officer in the camera room, which is usually that's the only time that they detected that. First one was through the camera room. So that's what their policy kind of is. The security guy will begin the incident report. And once he's got his portion, the incident report kind of goes around to all the folks that were involved. Everyone kind of writes their own statement or adds their details. She reviews it, and then Dallin, stamps it with good when it's done. And they have a state reporting database as well. They have to report it through. There's a policy referring to if they're missing for more than 90 minutes. They've only ever had to use it once, which is for this event. It says that outside authorities are notified unless Dr. Dallin or a federal liaison is involved. And in that case, they basically retain the ability to do whatever they want to do. If they believe that contacting the police is not, optimal or you're incorrect, they can say that. We don't want to do that.
Was that enacted in this event? Or were authorities notified?
She says Dr. Dallin has friends in high places. I don't really understand what he means. I thought it was actually you folks for a moment, but you're with the auditors, public audit. It's okay. But yeah, he has some friends that will come in, and they're already gone. They left yesterday.
Nice friends arrived yesterday and spoke with you. Mm-hmm. That's actually, if I may be candid, a key part of our audit is making sure that the follow-up and paperwork is handled with these interdepartmental and in particular interstate and federal situations. There's no indication that there's any wrongdoing, but there is a heightened level of scrutiny on these things, and we want to make sure to get everything down
that
perfect.
Makes sense. Of course, yeah. I mean, what do you want to know?
How many of them were there, and did they give you any credentials when they arrived? Badges, names, anything like that?
Yeah. There were 4 of them. 3 men and a woman. All normal-looking people. I'm not sure. They had on khakis or maybe cargo pants, and they all had generally shirts, collared shirts, but the non-dressy kind, the short sleeve ones. They all had badges. I'll admit I didn't write down what agency they were from. There was an eagle, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. But they came in and spoke to me and to Dr. Dallin, and I don't know. I thought that that was all kind of already in a file somewhere. I mean, I guess it makes sense. They're kind of the secret people or whatever that do things.
Nothing at the federal level is really secret.
Oh, yes.
But I was just wondering, you said they spoke with you. Did you get their names during that conversation?
No, I did not. They said they were in town. They were in town for this. They had one other thing to clean up, and then they were leaving. So they didn't really do much staying here.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a log of who came in as part of that group?
There might be. Yeah, I would have to go down and look at the receptionist desk, but there could be. Yeah, we have a log we utilize for more important figures, so perhaps they used that.
It would be highly irregular if the only security and authorities brought in were not logged somewhere. That would definitely be notable for the audit.
With your high human, you track that she is immediately on your side. I agree. Let's find that logbook as soon as we can. And she stands up and she's like, oh, sorry, I'm a manager now. She sits down. She grabs the phone. Yes. If you wouldn't mind, just bring the logbook up here when you get a chance. You can have Bryce cover the desk. Yeah, it's a few minutes. He'll be fine. He could put his bag under the desk. Okay. I've already talked to him. Okay. Under the desk. Okay. Sorry.
Are congratulations in order? You said I'm a manager now. Is this a new position for you?
No. I've been doing the thing for a long time. I just joke with myself. I much rather
see
be
what
on the
you-
floor helping patients than calling on the phone. But
For sure. I mean, we all had backgrounds in the field before this, so the auditing it's okay, but it does get a little bit sad not to be able to help more directly.
it is
That said-
really too bad.
I would also, while you continue to discuss with my colleagues, I would love to check with your security officer and just check the condition of your electronic monitoring system and look through recent records back to the time of the unexpected patient absence event.
He takes on a new shade that I'm going to make. Anyone who wants to roll human, including Merchant, I'll have you roll for this one if you'd like. The new shade is marked by a new shade of look.
5.
I got it.
10.
4 under 10.
Phenomenal. Yeah, each of you notice that the new shade is probably embarrassment. She says, so the system was recording on the night of August 28th. We checked and rechecked it. And now she folds her arms, she's uncomfortable, maybe she's disgusted. But when we try to access the footage from 11 to midnight, we just get something else.
Of course. I should go review that. I'm sure it's just a glitch and we don't need to really worry about it too much, but I do just want to check some dates before and after, immediately after. And I'll check that issue and see if I can't diagnose it. We see a lot of things in these audits. You'd be surprised how many common failure points there are in these systems that just keep cropping up like this.
Yeah, I was more than a little unnerved. So, and then a knock at the door.
Disturbing. Yes, of course. Sorry.
The knock. She points at I would probably Blackburn and says, "Will you get the door? That's probably Gale with the logbook."
Yeah, sure.
You open the door and standing in the crack of the door there, you see not Gale, probably. You see what looks to be kind of a frail man, maybe late 20s, early 30s. He's wearing an outfit that would make you believe that he, in fact, lives here. Heavy air quotes. He is a very awkward bird, and you're surprised that knocking at the door didn't shatter his arm. He's very, very, very emaciated. He is smiling. He's not holding like a knife or anything. He's smiling, and he's got like a spiral-bound notebook in his hand. He's whispering. He says, "Coward, I know you think that I'm the worst. I'm not. I wrote your name. Your name's already written down in the book."
My name?
Your name, yeah, it's in the book. I'm not a coward, though. You got that right.
Sure.
It's about it's a projective delusion. I was just making up code. No. This is all the people, all the names. You're down on the names. You ever hear the Gosha? The Arsh Gosha? No, it's wrong. Bunch of old demons. But I'm not. I'm brave. I'm very brave. Esther's like, Gale, you can come in.
I don't think that's Gale.
I'm not Gale. He takes 2 steps back. But I'm not a coward. He just turns and walks away from the door. You hear the elevator ding open, and then, Bale, why are you out? I need help over here. And you hear he's like, oh, running on bare feet, running down the hallway. Esther stands up now and kind of walks around and looks out the door, peeks out the door. They've got that. Did he say anything? I'm sorry. Was he? What did he say to you? He's been under a lot of these delusions.
What kind of delusions?
Hard to describe. He's not well, and so I want to know if we should medicate him again so he can sleep. I know it sounds terrible. He's really neat.
Yeah, no. He didn't say any threats.
Oh, good. He usually doesn't say too many of those, but did it make sense what he told you, or can you describe it just a little? I'm sorry. There's just been long, ongoing therapy sessions. She's not gonna she's not letting go at this point. She's very clearly wants to know what. Just briefly. I mean,
something. Yeah, is saying he's not a coward or some about demons and.
Yeah, no, you can. Yeah, all right. That's all right. Thank you. She shouts out the hall and she's like, "He's all right. Don't worry. Nope. Yep. You don't have to medicate. Just escort him back to his room." She's like, "He has that. He's a ex-army guy, PTSD from a bunch of stuff, and so he's got a recurring delusion about cowardice. It's very sad, frankly." She's like, "But he's on the 3rd floor, so whenever we can figure out how to get him restrained to his room and not down a level, I will be very happy." And she kind of walks around now and sits back at her desk.
Is it common that patients on the 3rd floor gain access to the lower floors like this, or is he a outlier?
No. Theoretically, it's not possible. Bale is just very good at it. I don't know how.
Charming or clever. There's always someone. We've seen it a lot. Don't worry. We're not going to judge you based on that.
Thank
It's
you.
a normal occurrence in any facility of this size.
We do what we can. I mean, we don't, we try not to medicate overtly. We try to do what we can, but, restraint sometimes for the betterment of everybody else. So, and himself.
course.
So,
Mary, did you want to check through the logs, or would you like me to do it?
Yeah, I think you'd be better checking the logs.
I'll take a look. Merchant, did we see a pharmacy when we came through the tour so far? Dispensary on site, or are we talking about something outside?
I have not
I think
seen
there's
one.
just the nurse stations.
Maybe some clarity on that while I check the log.
yeah, of course. She goes on about a medical delivery service. In the past, they've just had somebody go out and get the meds from the distributors. But in the past 4 or 5 years, with all the focus on drugs and making the streets safer or whatever, they have moved to an armed service that brings in kind of like Garda, with cash, but instead they carry drugs and other medical supplies too. It all kind of comes in one load. The log is not helpful. Gale does drop it off. You see an orderly kind of looks to be done with this shit, older, white lady with hair that's very, very not this year. So
there's no cluster of 4 alliterative names yesterday.
There are in fact not 4 alliterative names here. The thing that's written down on the date that they showed up is Golden Boys, and she's like, "Wow, they really are kind of full of themselves, right? The Golden Boys."
Well, some of these federal organizations endorse a certain amount of pride, even arrogance, unfortunately. Well, I'm going to leave you with Merchant, and if you could have someone escort me to the security office.
Oh, sure.
You all can finish up
Of course.
here?
Yeah. Of course. No, I'd be happy to do that for you. Let me grab. I think Bryce is now free off the desk, and she calls the desk.
You mind if I
Bryce
come
answers.
along as well?
Yeah. You can keep an eye on me. Make sure I don't get in any trouble.
I'm just curious to see the footage myself.
Where do you need me?
Wherever you'd like to be. We're looking at the 3rd floor next, so I suppose if a couple of you want to look at the 3rd floor with me, that'd be fine.
I would love a set of eyes on the 3rd floor.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Let me. Bryce is available. He'll come up and help you out. Bring you up to that room on the 3rd floor.
Of course.
So, in passing, she mentions that maybe there's some small talk about the weather. Things have been nice, the weekend, all those things. What you're wearing, the weather, on the weekend. And after a couple of minutes, a pretty bulky young man with hair that sticks up, with much gel and assistance, comes to the door. Oh, hey Bryce, if you want to just take they're going to the server room and security room up there on the 3rd floor. Yeah, all right. Kind of steps back. And you see he's got this kind of duffel bag that he's got with him. He's carrying a blue gym bag looking thing.
Yep.
He's like, "Yep, the elevator is that way."
All right. Thank you, Bryce. Much appreciated.
And I walks with you.
Do you like working here, Bryce?
Yeah, I think so.
What did you do before you worked here?
Personal trainer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can see you've kept active. That's great.
Yeah.
Is it useful here? Do you have a lot of call for physical restraint at the facility, or?
Never.
Great. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And how would you say is morale, esprit de corps, so to speak, among the orderlies.
I don't know what that is, but yeah, it's fine.
A lot of the time, auditors, we get kind of full of ourselves and we only talk to the management. That's not really you guys deal with everybody all day long. You know what things are like here as well as anybody else does, right?
I think so. The death of his last brain cell is paired with the sound of the elevator arriving on the floor.
Not a very chatty guy.
No. I'm currently wondering if they screen for these people or if this job just does something to you.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, you get on the elevator together and ride up to the third floor. I suppose that not far behind, Esther is locking up her office and has each of you, and she says, "We can just take the stairs if that's okay. You both seem to be of limber capacity."
Yeah, good to keep moving.
Definitely.
Okay. She takes you to a stairwell, you open up the door, and there in front of you there is what looks like a nurse, a little younger than Gail, the orderly. Nurse Vors is what it says on her name tag, just mid-cigarette in the stairwell. Esther, Vors, the nurse, is absolutely floored by the sight of her boss's visage, and she's like, "Oh." Esther says, "Just go out back. We'll talk about it later." And the nurse just kind of, maybe early 30s woman, blonde hair, part of the middle. It's like, "Oh yeah, okay." She just walks down the staircase, pretty dejected. Esther's like, "I'm very sorry about that. It's been a thing." We walks you upstairs, opens up the door on the floor, uses the key to get in, and opens up on the third floor. The third floor, as each of you ride in your respective means of locomotion, you see it the same as it was when you visited Dr. Dallin. The center area is kind of this fishbowl, much glass, probably still not bulletproof, but certainly multi-paned plexi. The center area has a bunch of what looks to be unbreakable furniture, which sounds funny to say out loud, but actually it does exist. In so far as it's not, you can't make a weapon out of it. Lots of plastic. There are certain effects that are kind of glued to the wall, so to speak. There's what seems to be like a cassette player, like a tape player, is in a steel case attached to fix to the wall. So you can still touch the buttons and utilize it, but you can't. In theory, you can't get anything off of it or use it. There are a few folks that are generally fighting for this, the use of this system. Not fighting in a way that any of the orderlies are getting involved, but kind of just arguing about it a little bit. Merchant, you immediately key in on the person you saw 20 years ago, who is standing kind of in a corner. He sitting in what looks to be a wheelchair, not standing. What looks to be a wheelchair, I say because very old-fashioned. Does not look like a normal, very metal, sterile-looking thing. It's one of the ones that's kind of the basket wicker going on, the caning on the seat in the back with the big wheels that look to be, galvanized. Well, wearing what seems to be a dress. It might just be, a hospital gown. Presenting in such a way that it's very difficult to tell what gender or even really age, sex. It's all very not understood. Old is the only thing you could say with definition. Is he is very, very old. Been around for a while. I'll have you roll San for seeing this human here.
First time ever, 30 under 50.
Nice. I love that for you.
1.
You lose 2 San.
Good. I'm now below a 50-50, everyone.
Nice. Gotta love those odds.
Mm-hmm.
If any of you were looking for sunshine, you can find her. I don't think any of you really were focused on that plan. So not hiding, but not in the middle of everything. So waves at you, Merchant does wave at you very, very weakly, lifts an arm and waves. She waves a bunch of paper that's she's drawn in like a sketchbook. A bunch of paper just slides off of her lap and onto the ground.
I'll help. And I kind of dive in to help.
You go into the kind of the solarium, this fishbowl or whatever, go over to her. Some of the orderlies kind of get a little bit bent out of shape that you just kind of walked in, but you don't really care. And I think, Meridian, you would see that Esther kind of just gives them the old, wait, hang on a second, gives them a pause, right? And so they do what they were doing. Yeah, Merchant, you run up and you see that these, like very age-fogged eyes, very just sincere, like genuine, hit you almost immediately. You kind of, I would think that you feel emotional. I think even Adam Blackburn would feel emotional if he was up there. Yeah, this is definitely Sunshine. And as you get close, you can see that they kind of begin to tremble, start trembling, kind of, and then like we kind of beginning to sob a little bit. It's very quietly sob though.
Hey, it's okay. I have your work. Are you an artist?
You look down to see the paper on the floor. It's just a bunch of like scribbles. There's a box of crayons, like the big pack of crayons that's on the table. The pages she was writing on, there's a lot of scribbles and a lot of spirals. But there's one word that she's drawn, or he's drawn, all over the page, every page. Same word drawn over and over, and it just says sometime.
Written as one word or two?
Good question. One word.
Sometime.
Laughing now, a little bit. Still silently. The sobbing is silent. The laughing is also silent. But kind of reaches out to like shaking, kind of embrace you in an awkward way, because wheelchair.
I'll kind of receive it, and just again, I'll flag the orderly. And I'll just kind of whisper, "It's been a long time."
Yeah, you hear the laughter, kind of like you feel the laughter kind of just peter out, and you feel this kind of like weird. You're not sure if she's like grabbing at your chest or like grabbing for like what's on your ribs, or if she's kind of like got her arm in between the two of you, in between kind of in where the hug is, and you feel some sort of movement that's happening there. No, Sunshine, as you look down, Sunshine has begun to tap his chest with index finger, very as forcefully as this frail human can. Is like poking their own chest, and then just begins poking you right in the same on the chest as well. Just like, and then is alternating, like poking up their own chest and poking you in the chest.
So me, you, what?
Yeah.
What is it?
Just keeps doing it. Is like fervently looking at you now, and is like increasing in ferocity, poke ferocity, but nothing is. You see the mouth open, but it's just kind of like air exits. Nothing. There's no noise.
So because Andy is daft, but Merchant is not. With a 70 human, can I kind of pick up on what we're trying to communicate here?
No, you don't think so. It's tough.
Some vague connection. Like you.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of at a certain level, you don't know if like Sunshine is saying that they need you, that they thought you'd be here sooner, that they are you, that you are them, that they are a copy, that they are waiting for you. But some connection is being expressed. And as you sit there and look at like more and more at Sunshine, you begin to close loops in your mind. Like you begin to think, holy shit, is that me? Like, is this 60 years worth of me? And so now you like take a little, maybe step back and take a little look, and then begin to become unnerved by the things that you know about yourself so well. Just as you begin to maybe think you've got something, a couple of orderlies come over as it seems like Sunshine has made themselves bleed. There's like a rip in her shirt. Her long, unclipped fingernail has kind of ripped open some kind of scab. And so there's a decent amount of blood that's come down, soaking her shirt that she's in. And orderlies grab him up, and they take the wheelchair, rather. They roll away and kind of push past you. Not in a rude way, but in a way that like this person needs to be assisted. So they move past you.
I'll walk back over to Meridian. Do you recognize that person?
Maybe. That's our jumper 20 years ago. I don't know this person.
Our jumper 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Roll sand. Adam, roll sand. Yeah.
Join me
42
in my madness.
Under 70, and sorry, under 67. So I pass.
Nice. You lose, 2 sand.
2 sand.
As you finish your question to Sunshine, your talk kind of draws to what you think could be an end, I guess. And she's getting wheeled away, or he's getting wheeled away. You go back over to Meridian and to Esther. Esther says, "I think that I should probably go assist with that. Sunshine tends to get into a pretty good tizzy when he's. You'd think he was a paper tiger, but in reality, he's more of a lion." great speaking with you. I'm sure that we'll probably see each other again. My house is
For
always open if you ever want to stop by. And I shoot pretty straight, so I'm happy to have you around if you need.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And she, in every bit of good heart that you feel in that offer, she moves away and tends to Sunshine.
So this bitch pulls out a Terminator and loops back 20 years later just to jump off a building?
Yeah, whoever that was trying to communicate something, kept tapping my chest, their chest, over and over again. But I don't know. I mean, it's weird. I guess I will see her, have seen her again. Maybe we should just catch up to the others, huh?
Sure.
You make your way down the hall. You follow some signs that seem to be faded with sun and time, but it probably said security at one point. You make your way, and it's pretty hard to miss the sound of Miranda asking questions about equipment. Tends to be pretty fervent in getting those details.
Absolutely.
You hear the sound of an exasperated security guard that does not want to be here, there, or anywhere, and he's answering as best he can. Yeah, I don't know. Manufactured in probably 2004.
Makes sense. There's no reason to throw out a working system as long as it is working. And
yeah,
you all seem to have done a pretty good job keeping this one in good condition. A lot of places really, they let a lot of those upgrades slip, but you guys everything seems up to date.
Yeah. You both kind of come in. He's like, oh, hey, sorry. Are these they're with you?
Yeah, they're with us. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Miranda, everything good on your end? Do you see what you need to see with the equipment?
Yeah, no obvious signs of anything that could cause a fault. I'm going to check yesterday first for the visitors, and then we'll scrub back to the night in question.
Yeah, it seems like you've got the control of there's a bear claw in the break room that's just been singing my name for a couple hours now, so you fancy training, I'm sure you'll be fine. You can't break it worse than it's already been broken.
We'll take care of it.
I don't really know what a cascading tape over or a cascading reset or whatever, but that's what the guy said when he came from the company and looked at the bear claw.
I'm familiar. It's no worries.
He stands up. Yep. Okay. I'll be back if you need me to come back. Just come grab me when you're done.
Bear claw. Focus on the bear claw.
You got me there, buddy. He turns, starts walking. Hey, Gail, you want to split a bear claw? Do you want to close the door to the security office?
Absolutely.
You close a metal door that has seen many, many pounds, bangs, and other miscellaneous comic book sounds, but does shut and lock. You, in front of you, as Heather has already certainly dug deep into, a pretty decent security system if you were in 2004. It's even for 2015, it's pretty extensive. There's lots of cameras. About a quarter aren't even working, and have static. The remainder are, pretty splotchy. The quality is pretty poor, and the recording system is VHS tapes. So there's a big rack on one of the walls, as wide as the room, which is not very big. That's just full of VHS tapes. So you said you wanted to review from the visitors?
We want to start with the quote-unquote golden boys the prior day, see if I can't find them on the tapes before we head back to the patient absence event.
Okay. How much time do you want to spend looking for the golden boys? As Libby, a human that has reviewed security footage once or twice in his life, that shit takes forever. Unless you have an exact time, in which I don't think you really do. So how much time do you want to spend?
So Miranda, familiar with these sorts of systems, at the very least, is going to know this is going to take a lot of time. And so she actually just turns and says, what's my timeline here? Can we take some time to find these golden boys, or are we on a clock?
They didn't put the time in the log?
No, just the names. Not even the names, just golden boys and the date.
Reed looks at his watch. Try to get out of here for a late lunch.
All right, I'm going to take no more than an hour on yesterday then. I'm probably not going to find anything, but I'll hit every 15 minutes on the entrances and see if I see anything, and I'll also check whatever the closest cameras are to the doctor's office. If I get lucky, I'll find something. If not, maybe they're on there and we just don't get lucky this time, but yeah. Give me about an hour for that. Feel free to grab a coffee or a bear claw or whatever you need.
Thankfully, the genesis of all bear claws, the fountain of bear claws, is actually in the break room. So you're lucky this time.
Nice.
In that way. Yeah.
There's a bear in the break room.
Hawk, go ahead and roll luck. Let's see how lucky you get.
That would be a 79 on the old luck roll.
Nice. Yeah, you spend about an hour looking through, and you've got big fat nothing. You catch like what you think maybe like the medicine man that came to deliver the medicines, but nothing else. No.
Is Reed able to make, like, since he's reviewing the footage with her, two sets of eyes? Am I able to, like, assist in some way?
Sure. Yeah, you can. Which of you has high bureaucracy, by the way? Sorry, out of the two of you.
I have a 40.
I have a 40 as well.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah, you can make a luck roll, Ty, if you want.
29.
Nice.
Or, I'm sorry, 21.
Oh, in that
Same
case,
deal.
you don't find. You look through, and just kind of as Miranda is like gaining multiple levels of exasperation, I imagine Reed being like, "No, let me drive for a second," and you like, you kind of think like, well, if I was a marshal and I was gonna go and whatever. You think about the kind of the tactical thing. You think about the way that you would have to do it if there was a search warrant or not. All there's stuff. Seemingly by chance, you managed to catch about a minute and a half long window where you're getting a good view of a group of 4 humans, all wearing like Hawaiian shirt, kind of very like vacation-y looking. They've got flip-flops on, kind of like cargo pants, some khaki, some gray. All have sunglasses. All have the high and tight, or like something close to a high and tight. You're not sure, but they're definitely like law enforcement or military of some variety from the look. And the big flowy shirts mean that they're probably carrying guns too. You have no way of knowing. You watch them. They come in. They speak to the receptionist very briefly. One of them pulls a badge out of the woman. The one woman out in the group pulls a badge out, shows a badge. You can't see what the badge looks like from the footage, but gold and in a badge holder, like a flipped badge holder, like you have, where you open it up and it's badge on one side. The receptionist responds in such a way that, she believes that they're probably, whoever, government agency, whoever they say they are, and issues them a card. Looks like gives them a card, like a key card, and then they walk through the first floor. They enter one of the stairwells. They go up to the 3rd floor. You don't see them on the 2nd floor, but again, some of the zones that you think you should be seeing them are out. The cameras are out, so it's kind of tough to follow perfectly. But as you spottily catch them, on the 3rd floor.
I'm picturing just like I'm kind of sitting in front of like a bay of monitors and like eyes kind of darting from one to the other, like trying to keep track.
Yeah, they hit the 3rd floor. They go right to Dallon's office. They knock on the door, and after a couple of seconds, they try the door. It's open. They go in. You don't see Dallon, like, he doesn't let him in. It looks like they just kind of barge in. They're in there for 12 minutes and 32 seconds. They exit out. They don't seem to have any pleasantries. They don't he's not like walking them out or like shaking hands. They just exit the room. They walk down the hall back to the staircase. They walk down the stairs to the 1st floor again. As they're about to walk out of the front door, they came in. You see the woman goes back up to the receptionist desk. She says something. She gives the card back, says something. You see the receptionist do the raised hand in surrender kind of thing, palms facing you on the opposite side of the head. I don't know, or like, I don't know, not me, that kind of thing. Seems to be matched by the demeanor of the woman, the female in the Hawaiian shirt. Seems like she's like grilling or giving heat, or like is saying something in a very stern, terse way. You think maybe some of the other 3 men, they kind of laugh amongst each other. You can pretty clearly now make out the shape of a weapon in one of their belts. They exit shortly thereafter. There's nothing really else of note. You watch for 10 minutes in either direction. Nothing else.
And
Do you think we'd look good in Hawaiian shirts, Mill?
Do I think you'd look good in a Hawaiian shirt?
I mean, all of us. We don't really have a uniform.
Do you think she looked good in the Hawaiian shirt?
No, she looks like a piece of shit, but that's not the point.
It's not my style.
Yeah, Figured. You're more steel toe than flip flop anyway.
Yeah, something like that. I like to keep it a little elevated.
Sure. We could elevate your steel toes, I'm sure, if you wanted to.
I imagine like Meridian's coming back like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? No. What is this?
Do I recognize any of the? Can we see their faces? I don't think so.
No, you can't. And they all. I mean, like, I think Reed could convey this well, but I think you would just put the nail in the coffin on the fact that like they're all either military or law enforcement. 100%. They're all in shape.
Okay.
Generally, they're all kind of young-ish. They all got the haircut. They've all got, you know, weapons probably, like all this. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have seen many agents in the 20 years that I've in between operations, and they have nothing to do with any of the agents that I've seen.
As
far as I'm concerned,
footage is so grainy, but yeah, no, probably not. I mean,
well, the thing I was hoping for is at least come to pass, in that it's not us, which I've had a horrible feeling about this whole time. So at least some things still proceed one after the other as expected. Shall we check out the horror show?
I mean, I'm hoping it's not. Just pop the
As
tape.
long as Esther's been at this, I bet it's at least a little bit bad. Do we want to do 2 to view, 2 to monitor reactions? I don't see a reason for all of us to stick our noses in here, especially since we don't always get the same output.
I'm already sitting here all
right, Merch,
I'll watch.
You're our doctor. You monitor us unless you think you're going to know something about what's on the tape that we wouldn't notice.
If you need me to see anything, just let me know.
Well,
So I'll take.
Okay.
Merchant will take a position where his back is to the screen and he's just kind of observing the observers.
Well, I've got the date. We've got the time. This one should be easy to find, at least.
you pull to I think I said about 11:30. Yeah, or 11:30. This tape, as you put it in, you see it says SecCam 3F Hall A, and then the date 08/28/15. This tape that they have is an incident tape, which is red. The VHS is red, and it looks like the whatever long stored tape of the whole day. They will take down, they'll edit it, put it onto they'll take it off of that tape and put it onto an incident tape. So you don't even have to find the footage; it's just kind of there for you.
Great.
And you can certainly review the actual tape, but we'll give a little bit of a peek behind the screen and say it's the exact same on the tape as it is on this incident tape for you.
Great. Yeah, I'm checking that after we can start with the incident tape.
Of course, yeah. So you put this incident tape in the archaic VHS player on the playback screen, which is a little bit bigger. The video begins. You've got the nice black screen, the winding up sound. Takes you back to the rewinding VHS tape. So you're there. It's at the beginning, and you get this very old 1950s black and white footage that starts playing. All of you have seen the dial of this show. There's a grainy stage set, very cheaply built, shitty TV show kind of thing. Seems to resemble a swamp. It seems to resemble it's got these paper mache reeds, cardboard alligators. It definitely looks a lot like the time that you saw Top Chick on the television telling you not to miss your cue. Every time that you've heard or seen of the Yellow Phantom, the TV show, that did not go very well. It seems to have that vibe and has kind of the same character. From behind these reeds, you see that a man in a very elaborate cloak steps forward. He has this kind of shifting, almost unhealthily blonde, you would think, because you can't really see the color, but you would think. Unhealthily blonde-looking hair. Kind of almost mirrors back at the camera. He's ankle deep in this painted water. Very unsettling. Then from behind him, you see someone stand up from crouching. Seems like they were kind of maybe waddling or walking behind, and they kind of stand up. And so now there's two people, both looking in the exact same uniform, standing, one behind the other. Each of them reaches at the same time in tandem, reaches into their little cloak and pulls out what looks to be a very small matchbook. They each light a match, and the match is burning, and they each say in unison,
He hides amongst the alligators, playing with fire, though all he wants is to burn. The front of the two turns to face the camera directly while the other is sinking into the swamp behind him. And there's now like audience laughter kind of rising at an unsettling rate and volume. And so it's almost shouting as this one is looking right into the camera and says, "The dog has a name. But once you hear it, you won't have any Patsu left, Miranda." The tape cuts, picks back up in a modern video footage. Looks kind of like a handheld camera, colorized. Grainy feed from a rooftop. And you can see down the alleyway, Miranda standing there, kind of looking back into the McAllister. And you hear the sound, the kind of crackling sound of a flame beginning and burning, and you see the kind of the orange lights kind of emanating from the inside of the McAllister. And the camera is, kind of shaking and wobbling with zooms as we watch Millstone walk out of the back of the McAllister. Smoke kind of begins to rise out of the back windows of the McAllister, getting caught in the flame. Very quiet breathing begins to kind of go in and out. Whoever's holding the camera, not sure who. You each watch each of you walk away down the alleyway into the future. The camera jostles and picks back up. The video stops, but the audio continues. You hear the sound of a phone unlocking, and then you hear like cell phone, and then you hear the sound of dialing, and you hear the voice say, "You have one missed message." We get the press of the number, and we hear a different voice saying, Michael, this is Ruben. Look, man, I don't know what you think you're doing, but this has gone far enough. You have to call me back immediately. We can fix this, but you have to stop running. We can't cover you forever. They're looking for you, Mike. The boys, not just us. If you are hearing this, you have to turn yourself in tonight. And then we hear the sound of the phone close and then snap against the roof. And then a very quiet male voice says, "Along the shore, cloud waves break. The twin suns sink behind the lake. The shadows lengthen in Carcosa." The video ends and the tape in the cassette player where you are right now starts on fire. We'll see what happens next week. Will the cassette fire burn down the building? No. We will see what happens next week.
That was hella creepy.
Oh, dang.
Nice.
That was hella creepy, Libby. That was
nice.
that was
I'm
good.
glad it was good. I'm glad. Very happy. Dude, hang on. As Cher always says,
It's the
if
first
you
time.
could turn back time.
If you can turn back time,
Huh?
better man.
Find a way.
I just want to acknowledge that's the first time that anyone's dropped the C word in this campaign.
Yeah.
I believe.
That is a new
Which we all know what that word is, right, Libby?
Cunnilingus.
Carcosa from the back.
That's all we got. Have a good night.
Pew, 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 pew.
Bye, everyone.
Every AM radio sound ever plays.
As Cher always says, if you want to know he loves you so, it's in his kiss. That's where it is. Before we sign off, I want to take a moment to talk about something very close to my heart. This podcast is about exploring darkness and fear, but in real life, those feelings can be overwhelming. I want to remind you that if you're feeling lost, lonely, or struggling, you don't have to face it alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. If you're in the U.S., you can call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, for free, confidential support 24/7. Wherever you are, there are resources and there is hope. You matter and your story matters.